So I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to come on in. We want to respect Miss Wright's time, so I'll just give it a few moments. While we're waiting on everyone to come in, I will just make a couple of announcements. If you are looking for hats, Lisa McFadden is your person. Visit lisamcfadden.com. She is definitely phenomenal with her work. This is just a picture of some of her work. She's actually my milliner as well. If you are having any type of hair challenges, I hope that you're not, but sometimes people do have hair challenges. So if you're experiencing any type of hair challenges, definitely want to invite you to check out the ad in the book, in the event guide, and want you to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. There's a young lady there who has incredible hair products. I think it's IUV. I hope I'm not saying it incorrectly. But definitely want to check out her products. I want to remind you that tomorrow we have a full day of career talks that will be taking place. So Byron Lars will be on in the morning. We were talking about how he created that first line of African-American Black Barbies. We have a young lady with Christian Dior. She's from the Ivory Coast. She's going to be on. Tomorrow night, we're going to have exploration through the Ebony Fashion Fair. So I want to make sure you have time to partake of those things. And I want to officially welcome Ms. Wright. Kalilah, is that correct?
Hi, yes it is, Kalilah.
I am so glad to have you tonight, and I know everybody's excited to hearing from you. Yeah, she said, Rosalind says she's here and she's so excited. So we want to hear about Mess in the Bottle. I believe you're called the Chief Message Officer. So we want to talk about that and dive into it. Founder of Mess in the Bottle, what an honor to have you here. So talk to us, let me get my questions here. I understand that you start your first entrepreneurship endeavor was at the age of 12. Is that correct?
I started like a little club in my junior high school, and that was, I think my first kind of introduction to entrepreneurship and really, seeing what that means and what it's like to be an entrepreneur.
Was that fun for you? I mean, what was some of the things that you remember about it?
I mean, I think that it was I think what stood out is just the fact that I was a leader. I think that, I really remember people, somewhat taking a liking to me and really excited that I was like creating a thing. So I think what really stood out is the fact that I knew how to lead a crowd.
Yeah. And if I understand correctly, you actually you have a master's in architecture, and you obtained that while you were going to school at night. Is that correct?
Yeah, they have a night program at Morgan State University. So, yep, I have a bachelor's of art with a concentration in architecture, and I have a master's degree in architecture.
So clearly, taking that on while you were going to school at night, that was that determination. What words of encouragement do you offer to somebody else who may be in a similar situation?
I mean, I think that everything we want in life, if you are determined, if it's something that you want to do and obtain, I think it's something that you just have to work hard for, no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah. And if I understand correctly, the genesis of your major company that you have now started around the time of the death of Freddie Gray. Is that correct?
It is, yep.
And do you believe that at that time it was therapy for you?
I mean, I think it was therapeutic to create messages, of course, but, I think ultimately it was, the fact that people really resonated with the messages and that, they too felt, the same way I did with everything that was kind of going on. I think that, made me feel more assurance that I was creating something that, the world needed.
Mm-hmm. And tell us about the origin of the bottle.
I just knew that I was creating messages. I wasn't really sure like what the name of the company was going to be, but I think the fact that, I was creating messages, and then I just stumbled one day on creating like message in a bottle, and that resonated and clicked with me. And then I realized, well, the world is a mess, things are a mess, and that's how mess in a bottle, came about. And I wanted to do something unique and different. So the t-shirts, they come packaged in a reusable bottle.
Mhm, mhm. And early on, I think you garnered celebrity support. How, what tips, because we have our audience is 18 to 44. So we have high school students, we have college students, and then we have career changers, people who are budding or emerging in the industry. What advice do you offer to them looking for celebrity support, or influencer support to really market their product?
I would just say, keep at it until you really either, and make sure it's like support that, will be good for your brand, show up. I think it's beyond just celebrity support. I think sometimes a lot of us are looking for that push because we think that that's the easier way, to garner attention. But reality of it is I received celebrity support because I independently was doing the work outside of just wanting celebrities to wear my brand. Like that was that just more happened because they recognized my stuff. They started to see my things, things like that. So I think that if anybody wants, to get any type of celebrity support, like you just have to do the work outside of that.
Mhm. And I'm thankful that you're okay, but I understand, I think it was your store that was robbed.
Mm-hmm. It
Talk
was.
ab talk about that and how you recovered from that and support that you know, tips that you offer to anybody who might be overcoming a traumatic experience or just, something in their business that, might have set them back.
Um, yeah, I think that it was an unfortunate circumstance that occurred. And I think that the way, at the time, it was definitely difficult, but I think overall, it's just one of those things where I've learned, like, with life, there's going to be obstacles, ones that you don't ask for, ones that, you are probably not sure, what to do to overcome it. And so, I think for me, um, it was just one of those things where I said, like, this was outside of my control. And I have to be, I have to either like, heal from it and, go through it and go on to, have it just be a part of the journey and story. And that's what I did. So, I mean, I think if there's any tips, I just think I would tell anyone, like, no matter what, life is going to give you curveballs. Like that's what it's here for. So, to me, a robbery, though it crippled me, it would be the same if it was a death of a significant other, or, you tripped and you broke a leg and you are a runner, like there's just going to be those unfortunate things in life that you'll have to like work through.
Right. My Bible always tell me what the devil meant for bad, God meant for good. Do you believe that was a breakthrough moment for you?
I don't know if a breakthrough moment per se, but I do think that it was a moment that just, it reminded me of my resilience. So,
Mm. And because I mean, you were about to quit. Is that right?
well, I was going to quit when it happened, not before that. Mm-hmm.
Right. So you turned that around and look at you now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Incredible.
Thank
Incredible.
you.
Yeah. How would you say working at Under Armour prepared you for success in business?
I mean, I think that it, did a lot of telling me about like brand development. It showed me a lot of like, marketing and sort of like the evolution of a brand, how the brand grew as as a small business, Under Armour once was, and then how much it developed into now this big corporation. So I think that that was really helpful to just see that it can be done. So that was helpful.
Hmm. And what steps did you take and do you offer to others as far as calculating the risk to leave your job?
I mean, I think that for me, I always recommend like you do what's comfortable for you. Like, I didn't look at like either the risk, times the reward. I think for me, I just, did what felt right at the time. And I think that it's really a personal preference on how, financially, where you can be, your responsibilities, what you're willing to go through that time, because it will be difficult. So I think it just depends on the type of individual you are and how much you believe in, the thing that you have on the other side to be successful.
What would you say is your secret sauce to becoming successful in the industry?
Not giving up, not being able to pivot, try new things, learn new things, and just, really believe in the success of what I'm creating.
Hmm. And you have t-shirt classes, right?
I do. Mhm.
Talk to us about the t-shirt classes, when what they're about, what somebody can expect taking it, and when the next session starts.
So right now we have more of like a membership group. And so we teach people how to start and create their own t-shirt company. But it's really based around like accountability. And it is, we have more of like, so I have classes and you have access to the courses. You have access to me where I show up in a group, once a week. And, we do a lot of accountability type of work just to make sure that, everyone is keeping in track with the goals and the things that they want to accomplish within their t-shirt company.
And when you say accountability, elaborate on some of what the accountability part is.
I mean, the membership group, we meet weekly. We talk about, where you are in your business, what things you're struggling with, what things you still need, additional resources to be able to accomplish. And, what things do you want to accomplish by what time? How do you create your goals? And, what type of support do you need to actually accomplish them?
And someone said, let me see, she said, yes, I love the T class offering and how much of your knowledge you share. So this
Thank
is,
you.
yeah, for somebody, because they don't generally teach, at least when I went to school, they didn't teach entrepreneurship in
Mhm.
school. So if someone is considering becoming an entrepreneur right after high school or college, what advice do you offer for them?
Um, so I think the advice that I will offer is like not being afraid to to still learn and being able to like learn outside of just education and school. Like there's just a lot out there, and I think learn hands-on and be open to learning new things.
Yeah. And what type of skills should they develop? And how should they develop them to be an entrepreneur, to be in the t-shirt industry, to be a t-shirt designer?
Um, Yeah, I think that, this depends on sort of like your learning curve, the things that I think learning is endless. I've recently did some work, with someone, and, I'm still learning things. I'm still growing as an entrepreneur. So I think that it's really up to the individual of where you want to be in business, how much you want to grow, how do you, how much you want to actually scale your business. I think that that's something that you really need to, think about for yourself and make sure that you have to pour into you. And I think that that's something too that a lot of people, are not doing a lot of. They're not like really pouring into themselves and their education and like, and just learning. So,
That's good that you said you think a lot of people are not pouring into themselves. Talk
right.
about, how that can be detrimental to their success.
I think that right now, like a lot of people want success, but are really not willing to work for it in the capacity that's needed. Like it is a lot of like hard work to grow and establish your business. It's not something to be taken lightly. And so I think that, there's just a lot of work that needs to be done for it. And you gotta pour into it if it's what you want.
Mhm. What does a typical day look like for you?
Um, a typical day for me is I'm really busy at the shop. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I am usually sometimes content creating, sometimes trying to figure out like doing financial stuff. I think that a typical day is usually made up of a lot of um, phone calls, a lot of Zoom meetings, a lot of operation, calls. I have a son, so sometimes I am doing a lot with him as well. So I think my day is made up of doing a lot and still, providing mentorship and just making sure that the things that I want for just even for myself and even my personal growth. I'm a runner also. So I am sometimes busy running and trying to still, stay focused on some of the things that I want to accomplish for myself. So.
Yeah. You have a dynamic team. It's been incredible, communicating with everybody all the way. What advice do you offer for building a good team?
I think when you are trying to build a good team, it takes you just keep on trying. Like I think that you're gonna have turnover, you're going to really have, it's gonna be a lot of it's not gonna always go right, And so I think that you're going to have to just keep on you're going to have to just keep on navigating and trying to find the right person. It's not the easiest to do.
Yeah. Sometimes I talk to people I've talked to a lot of people and their parents haven't been very supportive of them being in the fashion industry. Do you offer them any tips of advice to navigate if they don't have the support of family and friends?
I mean, you don't need friends. They might not be your customer. I mean, I think it's more like taking your own support and, kind of like pushing forward and focus on the people who do want to buy your products and not the people who don't want to buy your products.
Mm-hmm. We have a couple of questions. Someone says, how much has mentorship played a role in your career personally and to others as your company grows?
I mean, I have a mentor and I probably lean on them like just quarterly. I have business strategists who are people that I, probably meet with monthly to help me with certain things within the business. But ultimately I try to use whatever resources and support I can. But mostly, I try to really listen to myself and help my thoughts to guide my next step in business.
Mm-hmm. If someone's seeking, because a lot of times what we hear throughout the conversations that we have is everybody always stresses the importance of having a mentor. What do you
Right.
suggest to people how they should approach someone if they're seeking a mentor, how they should not approach someone if they're seeking a mentor?
I mean, I think the pick your brain type of approach has been really like, it's really outdated and it's very, sort of old. I think even asking someone maybe to shadow them or things like that if they have the availability, or even something where again like your ask is really clear, like, hey, I need some support with my business, would you mind if once a quarter I can meet with you for 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Like I think being really clear about your ask, because when people say mentorship, a lot of times they want you to guide them like sort of day by, and I don't think it's something that if you're building a business you probably don't have that kind of availability.
Mm. Yeah, Rosalinda says, I followed your journey with the Paris Marathon. It was very inspiring.
Thank you so much.
And talk about that because being an entrepreneur, having that fitness, how has that been, has that been an integral part to you in your success?
Yeah, I mean, I think running has just been really, cool, where it's just like it's one of those things that helps to pull me off of just doing work all the time, as well as it's just something that, it allows me to set goals and things that, I might not feel like I actually can do. So I truly enjoy it.
Mm. If anybody has any questions, throw them in the chat because time is winding up very fast. Time waits for nobody. So we want to put those questions in, and I know there's a little bit of delay going on. Are there any specific suggestions that you offer to career changers?
I would just say, look, we have one life, I feel like it's really important. I'm not going to be in a t-shirt space or apparel space forever, so I would just say anything you have interest in, anything that you really want to do, do, and try it.
What are some of the things we can expect next? Talking about that, that's perfect segue. What are some of the things we can expect next from Messing About 'Em?
I think that I'm really open this year to seeing like what's to come. Right now, I'm really focused on building my t-shirt community and really helping others to start their own business. And I think I've been more kind of focused on to see like what the future holds and letting it just guide me as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you mentioned helping others to start their business. What does that look like?
Just through the T class, giving guidance, us doing our weekly membership and, popping in, giving resources to other business owners for them to come into the group. So, I think it's just a accountability community.
Which is needed. Someone asked, how did you build capital for your business?
I built capital from sales as well as different pitch competitions that I won.
Are there any tips that you offer there as far as pitching a business?
Yeah, depending on how unique your business is, definitely try your hand at any grants, possibly if you need any loans. But, I would just say, make sure that you are attending things, being out there, seeing how things are developed and see where your business will fit in.
Are there any things along the journey that were different than what you expected, and how did you navigate those things?
I didn't really have any expectations with starting a business. I didn't know what to expect. And so, this journey has been quite interesting and, fun nonetheless. And so I think it's just been growth, and it's been a part of, became a part of me. So.
Okay. All right. Well, if anybody else has questions, please fill them in. It's always inspiring to see your messages. How do those come about? If you can share anything about that.
Yeah, so my messages, they come from love, life, career, current events. So it's literally just, I just kind of, think about the messages and it's stuff that's going on in the world. And that's kind of where, they come from.
Okay. She says, oh, and I love that you have copy edited your messages. Talk about that copy editing, because I started this nonprofit because I was the person who wanted to be in fashion and couldn't. When I went to my mother, that was one of those times when we had financial challenges. So I wanted to be a model. I went to mom and said, I want to go to Barbizon. She had to say no. So, my role in it is bringing people like you to the forefront for others to hear from, to glean from, so they can fulfill their fashion dreams. So most times, I don't know some of the things. So she's talking about copyrighted. Okay, I'm familiar with the copywriting. So wow, so you copyright each message or just some of them?
Some.
How long does that take you as far as that process?
It depends. I have an IP lawyer, and not everything that you create can be, go through either a trademark process or a copyright process. But, some of our products are protected under my IP.
That is good. And you mentioned, you have a copyright lawyer. What are some of the other integral roles that you have as a part of your team that other people should consider?
I think an accountant for sure, a CPA, bookkeeper, any operations manager, maybe virtual assistants or executive assistants are really great to help you. I have a personal assistant as well. So a lot of those roles have been really integral with just keeping my day-to-day going.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So what, food for thought in closing. If anybody else has questions, go ahead and put them in. But in giving people food for thought, what other things should people know about pursuing a career as a t-shirt designer in closing, as well as just in general, being an entrepreneur?
I would just share that it's a lot of work. It's hard work. It's not, something that is a flyby type of situation. You got to be dedicated to it, and you got to, really put the work in. And there's going to be a lot of times where you are going to want to give up and not, go any further. But, I think that it is important for you to, keep going.
Okay, this is good. Thank you so very much for taking your time out tonight to talk to everybody.
No
Um,
problem.
this has been great. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have any final things? Drop it in the chat while we got her. And again, I want to thank you, because I know your schedule is busy, for taking the time out. Everybody, please know, and there are a lot of people who have bought the replays because they couldn't be available so they can watch them later. So, the fact that you took time out your schedule to pour into other people, that just says a lot about you and that you want to see other people like us succeed. Thank you for your messagings,
Yeah.
that empowerment. I know that keeps some of us going. I see some of the messages someday and I'm like, wow, I needed that. So just want you to know how much you appreciate it as well.
Thank you. You're very welcome. No problem.
And she said, thank you for your time and your art.
Thank you.
All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful evening. And thank you, Miss Wright. And